Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to Mary Shakira and our fellow classmates. Today we will be presenting our oral commentary entitled Boycott Culture and Conscious Consumerism in Malaysia. Before we start, I would like to introduce ourselves. My name is Nura Nabila and my partner is Hana Shafika. Okay, so in recent years, boycott culture has become a growing phenomenon in Malaysia. More consumers are becoming aware of the impact of their purchasing decision and are chasing to support or to avoid certain brands based on their ethical, moral, and religious belief. This shift shows that many consumers are moving away from the traditional brand loyalty and becoming more conscious consumers. In other words, people are no longer buying products only because of the quality or the popularity, but also because of what the brands represent. So, uh, as a student and consumers in Malaysia, we personally observe how social media can strongly influence people's opinion and buying behavior. We notice how quickly public reactions online can affect a company reputation, whether positively or negatively. So this observation encourages us to explore how consumer activism has become increasingly powerful in Malaysian society, especially through boycott. Now, to help us better understand to this issue, I would like to invite my partner Hana to explain the background of the topic.
Thank you, Nabila. So to start us off, I'd like to provide some context here. We are looking at a broader consumer movement, which basically defines a phenomenon where individuals use their purchasing power to support ethical, social, or religious causes. Our study focuses on two primary drivers of this movement in the local landscape. First off, we have humanitarian sentiment. This is most notably seen in the Starbucks boycott, which is essentially driven by global solidarity. Now, as we will see in the data later on, this has actually led to record net losses for the franchise. Secondly, we have religious sentiment, where a key example is the KK Mart with Allah socks controversy. This incident, as we know, caused significant public ire and required government intervention, proving that consumer reactions can persist even after legal fines have been issued. Moving right along, let's look at the central idea of our presentation. To make it short, and to give you the big picture, humanitarian and religious sentiments have become absolutely central to conscious consumerism in Malaysia today. So, our objective for this presentation is basically twofold. First, we aim to illustrate the drastic shift in public sentiment and how that in turn dictates market trends. And second, we will be examining the significant financial downturn of companies affected by these movements, just so we can really understand the real world economic impact. So I will let Nabila proceed.
Now, I will move on to our first chart, which focus on public sentiment towards KK Mart before and after the Allah Socks controversy in March 2024. So, based on the chart, we can clearly see a major shift in public perception towards KK Mart after the incident. Before the controversy happened, KK Mart had a relatively positive public image. Around 38% of public sentiment was positive, while only 13% of public sentiment was negative. This suggests that the company generally had consumer trust and support. However, after the incident happened, the situation changed drastically. Positive sentiment dropped sharply to only 0.4%, while negative sentiment increased significantly to 37.6%. This change shows a serious decline in public trust. In fact, the positive sentiment decreased by about 37.6 percentage point, which highlight how quickly consumer opinions can shift when a company becomes involved in a sensitive religious issue. Next, I will pass to Hana for the second chart.
Now, let's actually dive into the financial data in Chat 2. But before we get into the heavy numbers, it's important to note that this data is sourced directly from Berjaya Foods financial results, specifically as reported by Forbes. Um, as you can see here on the chart, the impact of this movement is not just anecdotal, but it's reflected very clearly in the official figures. We are looking at a staggering 64% downturn in sales, paired with an increasing net loss of 292 million ringgit. If you look at the statement right below the chart, it summarizes this drastic shift. It notes that Starbucks Malaysia's income has essentially been halved, while their losses have tripled in just one single year. This really highlights the severe economic consequences resulting from the heightening humanitarian crisis in Palestine and the subsequent shift in consumer behavior. Ultimately, what this data shows is how humanitarian activism, fueled by that deep solidarity, has managed to fundamentally shift market share away from foreign franchises toward local competition. This, of course, creates a huge challenge for established brands as they struggle to recoup their operational costs in such a rapidly changing market. So I will let Nabila to proceed on the conclusion.
Okay. In conclusion, boycott culture has become a powerful force in the Malaysian market. As we can see from the example discussed, consumer choices today are increasingly influenced by ethical, humanitarian, and religious concern, as seen in the KK Mart controversy and the boycott of Starbucks. Therefore, I think conscious consumerism in Malaysia is no longer just a trend, but a reflection of how people are using their purchasing power to express their values and belief. Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you, both of you. Very interesting topic.